A new poll shows nearly 60% of U.S. voters want a social media ban for children in the country, modeled after Australia's first-of-its-kind law passed last month. Our next guest has been studying the effects of social media on children for years. Social psychologist, NYU professor, and author of The Anxious Generation, Jonathan Haidt, joins me now. Jonathan, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. So 60% of people say they do support a ban on social media for children. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's fantastic, and it's actually kind of obvious. You know, in the real world, we don't let kids do everything that adults can do, especially if it's exposing them to graphic sexuality, graphic violence, addiction, or physical or mental harm. We have age limits, except if it's on social media. When you let your kid open an account on Snapchat or Instagram or TikTok, they're going to be exposed to incredibly graphic sex, violence. They're going to become addicted, 10% of them or 20. And they're going to be exposed to things that are physically dangerous for them, TikTok challenges, things like that. So I'm thrilled. It's about time. We need to get an age limit in the US too.
So the CDC recently came out with a study, and it found that 15% of children ages 12 to 17 have anxiety, 9% have depression, and 7.5% have behavioral disorders. I mean, these are kids 12, 13, 14. This should be the most carefree time of their lives. Do you think that these numbers are a result of the increase in social media use among children?
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, many studies show that the rates are much, much higher than that, closer to 30 or 40% for girls, especially.
Yeah.
And there is good evidence that social media is a major cause. We can't say it's the only cause, but the fact that the kids themselves say it, the kids point to social media as a cause. The parents point to social media as a cause. The memos from inside the companies, we now have a lot of, thanks to lawsuits, we now have a lot of memos from inside these companies. They know they are trying to addict kids. They know that they are harming kids. Snapchat gets 10,000 reports of sextortion, not a year, a month, every month. So kids are being harmed at an industrial scale. And we do know that when you go off of social media for a couple of weeks, your rate of depression and anxiety goes down. So yes, there is good evidence that social media is a contributor.
Yeah, and especially among young girls. I mean, there's so much comparison out there, looking at images and then looking at yourself and just feeling bad about yourself when they're little and beautiful and they're just getting these images that, you know, completely put their mind in a place where it shouldn't be. So I mentioned that Australia passed this social media ban, and there are states in the country, and it goes both ways when it comes to Republican-controlled states and Democrat-controlled states, from Florida to California, that are interested in cracking down on social media in certain ways. Do you think that that's the solution, the federal government or the state government stepping in and putting bans in place, or should this be something that happens at home? What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, you know, in America, we generally think that the parents should be the principal deciders of this. But here's the thing. We're all trying. We are trying, but we can't keep our kids off unless you can keep your kid away from the internet, because the way it's set up now, if your kid can get to a web browser, they can sign a contract with any of these companies, open an account, you'll never know, and the company will take their data, expose them to harmful things, and they don't need your permission. So Florida and many other states, and you're right, it's completely bipartisan, because Republicans and Democrats, we all have kids. So it's completely bipartisan. For the most part, I want parents to be able to decide what they do, but we need help. Just like we can't be the ones who keep our kids out of liquor stores. We have to have the company checking ages. So yes, we need it. Parents want it. Australia's showing it can be done.
Yeah.
There's really no reason not to do this.
Yeah, you're right. Politics is second when it comes to things like this. Parents are parents first, and we all love our children and need to protect them. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. Very important topic. We appreciate you and your work.
My pleasure, Carly.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.